Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast presented by LineStar, your top player prop bets for wildcard weekend. On today's show, we're focusing in on the AFC North battle on Saturday night. We've got the Steelers headed to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. So in this show, we're going to be looking at our favorite player prop bets plus touchdown calls. And then at the end, we'll tell you maybe which sides we're leaning in this one. It's going to be a good battle here. Anytime teams from the AFC North meet, it seems like it's a pretty good game. In this one, though, the Ravens have finished off the season pretty strong, 4 wins to end things since their bye week. Meanwhile, the Steelers, it feels kind of like the wheels have fallen off specifically on offense. They haven't been able to hit the 20-point mark in any of their last 4 games. So, Tyler, heading into this one, any initial reactions to this matchup?
I mean, it's going to be, just a total slugfest, what we're used to seeing from these two teams. And in my eyes, Baltimore clearly the better team. Steelers coming in, losing a few in a row. They're not the highest of spirits. But all in all, I mean, I'm excited to watch this game. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, right now the Ravens are 9.5-point home favorites in this one. It opened with the Ravens as 8.5-point favorites. The game total at 43.5 in this one. Before we dive into our player prop bets, let you know that all of our picks are going to be available on Underdog, Sleeper, CHALKBOARD, and ParlayPlay. And if you don't have those apps, we got links for you below, but the key is to use the promo code LineStar so you can get your deposit match plus 1 free month of the LineStar app. Now, the LineStar app is what we are using to help us find the best value in the prop market. Specifically, the tool is called the PropsAI tool. You can check that out for yourself whenever you got a moment. LineStarApp.com is where you can find that, so check that out. We'll be referencing it throughout this video, so that's what we're talking about. The LineStar app has this really cool site called the PropsAI tool that will help you and basically compares LineStar's projections to what's out there in the prop market. So for this weekend, we will be diving into that tool. And also, if you could do us a huge favor before we get rolling here, we are breaking down every single wildcard game this weekend. I feel like it's probably the best way to really dive into these matchups and get a really good look at the handicapping process throughout. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And if you are, give us a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Not only does it help us out, but it also helps you out, because if we go 3-0 on our player prop picks for this game, we will give one randomly selected commenter $50. Got to be in it to win it. So let's keep it rolling here. Before we get into our player props, though, we got to talk about some other handicapping notes here. We got weather and, of course, injuries. So let's first talk about the weather in this one. Temps are in the high 20s. It's going to be cold. Now, there is some wintry weather mix that's going through the Northeast, I guess, at that time. However, as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be a clear game, no precipitation or anything like that, but it is going to be a cold one in Baltimore, that's for sure. Let's look at injuries. For Pittsburgh, a couple injuries worth noting. Defensive tackle Cam Hayward did not play with an illness, but I believe he will be good to go this weekend. For Baltimore, keep an eye on wide receiver Zay Flowers. He did not practice with a knee injury. Running back Justice Hill was limited with a concussion. Believe he should be good to go by the time game time rolls around on Saturday. And then safety Kyle Hamilton limited with a knee injury for Baltimore. All right, Tyler, let's dive into these prop bets here. We're going to start off with LineStar's pick. This is the PropsAI pick of the night. And then Tyler and I will each give our favorite pick from a prop perspective. All right, let's start things off with Jaylen Warren, running back for the Steelers, over 19.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection here is 24.6, and in fact, in this game, this is the highest edge percentage, and basically means that comparing LineStar's projection to the line that's available, this is one of the best props according to our models. Now, Warren is averaging just over 20 receiving yards per game, and he's going up against a Baltimore Ravens that's kind of middle of the pack in terms of defending against the running back in the receiving yards. 13th in pass defense DVOA versus running backs. Also, should note that Warren has gone over both times that he faced Baltimore during the regular season. He had 27 receiving yards and 44 respectively. Tyler, I know we took him to end the season against Cincinnati, I believe it was, and didn't quite cash there, but I'm going right back there. I like this prop. What do you think?
Yeah, I was surprised in that game that he only saw one target.
Yeah.
When the other thing is that his snap counts kind of dropped off a little bit, but I think that's more so because it was such a close game and they were into it. In games that the Steelers are behind, he has been outpacing Harris for snaps. And essentially what that is saying is that he is, used more as a receiving back than a first and second down back, which leads to this line, most likely hitting as long as the Steelers are trailing a little bit in this game. If they are controlling the game, then we maybe see a little bit more Harris, but I don't think anybody thinks that the Steelers are going to be leading the way in this one.
Yeah, I know it seems a little bit scary to take anything with the Steelers offense, given the way they've looked over the last couple of weeks, kind of pretty anemic on offense, but I think this is a place worth going, especially since if they are going to be trailing from behind, they're going to have to get the ball moving a little bit. And I think the way you do that, maybe some shorter passes and quick passes to guys like Jaylen Warren in that passing game. So I like the play here for that 19.5 receiving yards, especially given the fact that he's averaging just over 20 receiving yards per game. All right. Now it is time for Tyler and I to each give our favorite player prop bet in this game. So Tyler, who are you rolling with in this one?
I'm going to go off the board a little, probably a little surprising to a lot, but he's been playing, 75, 80% of the snaps, and he's a big play threat, and that is Calvin Austin, over 22.5 rush plus receiving yards. Our LineStar projections 27, consensus is 32.23. He's averaging 32 on the season. Over the last 4, he's averaging 40 per game. He is a big play threat, and I think Pittsburgh's really going to try and have to get guys open in space. And he is one of those guys you want to get open in space, can really make a big play happen and bust a big one. So I like Calvin Austin. I assume that the Ravens are really going to key in on Pickens, because as long as you stop Pickens, you kind of stop that receiving game. And then it's going to go down to Freiermuth, Austin, and the works. And I think Austin gets there.
Yeah, I really like that read that you got there with Austin. I like that play there. For mine, I mean, in some of these contests, you got to go with the big playmakers. And for that reason, that's why I got to go to King Henry here. And over on his rushing yards, 99.5. Let's go. LineStar's projection is 110 for Derrick Henry. He's averaging 113 per game, so I'm totally fine with this. I know this number is really high. Maybe hard to swallow for some, not for me. He's been over this 9 of 17 games, and he had 162 the last time he faced this Pittsburgh Steelers team, given he did have just 65 against them earlier in the season. But looking at Pittsburgh, I know that they were supposed to have this big dynamic rushing offense or defense, but they just are 13th in rush defense DVOA. This is the reason they brought Derrick Henry for the playoffs, to run the rock in this one. If they get out to an early lead in this one, I expect them to just give it to Derrick Henry to get things done in the ground game. Derrick Henry is going to see plenty of volume in this one. I fully expect them to lean into the run game in this one. And why can't you go with Derrick Henry? You got to go with him, right?
It's hard not to. 99.5 is wild, but I mean, how do they not give him the ball and just say take it? I
mean, he's averaging 113, so I get it. It's high, and it is a good, decent defense, but still, I feel like in the game script is just going to be to pound the rock in this one and just kind of take care of business at home, cold weather game. That's kind of how I see things playing out. I think they got away from the run game last year against the Chiefs, if you remember that playoff game, and kind of got away from it a little bit. I think they'll get back to business here, especially the fact that they brought Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens for this specific reason, for the playoffs. And Derrick Henry knows a thing or two about, just getting it done in the playoffs. So let's hope he does and cashes our prop bet. We're going to throw all 3 of those on an entry on Underdog, and let's hope we go 3-0 so we can give out some winnings. Did you have something to add to that, Tyler?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, who wants to tackle Derrick Henry? And it's the high 20s. Could be a little bit of snow out there. Nobody wants to get in front of that.
And I was just watching some of his old highlights, and it's like once he gets past the second level, it's like, oh, that's a hard man to bring down. So I think that's why the line is where it
ahead
is.
Of him, and
exactly, it's like game over, especially in the second half of game. He's just puts it away for the team. So I am fully comfortable. I know it's high. I know it's chalky. I get it, but I just got to go with Derrick Henry. I can rest assured that I feel like he's been pretty good at racking up those rushing yards this year. and that won't change heading into the playoffs. All right, so again, all three on a ticket on an Underdog, and if you'd like to tail us there, you can. But the big thing is to make sure you like, subscribe, and comment so that you can enter into our prop bets contest. That way, if we go 3-0, we'll give out $50 to a randomly selected commenter. All right, those are our player prop bets. Also, if you've got any locks for us, or if you disagree with us, let us know your rationale in the comments. We're all here to just help each other out, get a little bit smarter heading into this game, and make the best decisions possible. Remember to always bet responsibly. And again, if you've got any comments, drop them below. We'd love to hear from you guys, so drop your locks below. Now it's time for touchdown calls of the game. Tyler, where are you headed for an anytime touchdown in this battle in Baltimore?
I'm going to go with Mark Andrews. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be likely out Zay Flowers, as he has been a DNP all week. I don't expect him to play. Mark Andrews leads the league with red zone targets, and you can get the great value at plus 150. The guy has 11 touchdowns on the year. Let's get him a playoff TD.
Yeah, I thought about going there for receiving yards over with Mark Andrews in this one. Could be a good option, especially considering Zay Flowers was a DNP today. I like your logic there. But for mine, I got to go to Lamar Jackson for an anytime touchdown. As soon as I saw the price tag on this at plus 240, I was like, yup, we got to do it. I know Lamar Jackson only has 4 rushing touchdowns this year, but it's the playoffs. I think they're going to let him loose in this one. He had 2 touchdowns in last year's divisional game versus Houston. And looking at the Steelers, they have a good rushing defense, and they've only allowed 2 touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks this year, with Jaylen Hurts and Jameis Winston. But I think Lamar Jackson can get to them here. Pittsburgh's just 13th in rush defense DVOA, 13th in opponent red zone scoring, which is good, but not enough to keep out Lamar Jackson, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. 915 rushing yards during the regular season, which marked the 5th most by a quarterback since 2006. By the way, Jackson now owning 3 of the top 5 marks in that category. Sign me up for the plus 240 on an anytime touchdown with Lamar Jackson. I mean, can you count him out in this one? Absolutely not. And I like the value.
Nah, I like that play a lot.
Yeah. All right, taking a look at this spread game total. We got the Ravens as 9.5 point favorites. It did open at 8.5. You know, that seems a little high for what is essentially their 3rd meeting, but any take on this either way, any way you're leaning, either that or the game total at 43.5, or are you just steering clear of this altogether?
I think 9.5 is way too big, way too high. I mean, it's 2 divisional rivals that know each other really, really well.
Yeah.
I would be taking the points, but I think Ravens are winning this game.
Yeah. Last 5 games between these 2 squads, Pittsburgh's actually won 4 of them. So, I mean, these are 2 teams that have seen each other a lot, and you know Tomlin's going to be scheming up some things. They have TJ Watt is a game changer, so it'll be interesting to see. I do think that is a very high number to me. Any of these there's a couple numbers throughout this wild card game. I'm like, I think that spread's a little too much, but and we'll get into that a little bit later. For this one though, I just feel like I haven't seen enough good play from the offense over the past couple weeks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you would have asked me, before their bye week, I would have said, yeah, this is going to be, a tight contest. But I just have no faith in Russell Wilson and that Pittsburgh Steelers offense to be able to compete with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and that offense that's kind of rolling right now. So I'm just going to go with the Ravens to cover. So I'm not super confident in it. So just my opinion. Remember to bet responsibly. That's my disclaimer here. I am personally probably not going to bet the sides in this one. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. But we do have those great player prop bets for you. And again, let us know where you're headed, either in the sides or any bets that you're taking in this one. We're also here to help each other out and really appreciate you guys writing out your locks in the comments. So good luck out there during this Saturday night showdown. Best of luck. And again, make sure to tune into the LineStar YouTube channel. We're coming out with previews for all of these games. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment below, and we will see you next time.